You ready? I've been ready. What are we waiting for?
The boy is mine.
Let's go, Grizz! Let's go! Oh, John Moran just broke the rim with that finish. Defense, take them ball! Defense, take them ball! Jared with a rejection. Give me that! Moran digs at it, knocks it away. Picked up by Pippen. Bob, Brendan Clark. On that rim!
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Coach Thorpe, to his credit, also taught me, like, just simplify your game. Like, it doesn't have to be difficult. You don't have to do all the up and under stuff. Like, he always talks about getting to the second box. My biggest thing is just do what I can to make the right play. It doesn't, if it ends up in a shot, it does. If it ends up in a pass to an assist, it does. Shooting 72% is credit to, I guess the work I put in and my coach is helping me.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
Gary Parrish, speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle's right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you enjoyed Taylor Swift's appearance on the New Heights podcast, at least right up until it ended abruptly early. Big Ben Bennett, turns out we're not the only podcast with technical glitches from time to time. The New Heights podcast endured one last night. Not ideal. We'll talk Taylor and Travis and podcasts momentarily, like the rest of the world. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. The next segment, Michael Wallace is going to join me, senior editor, Grind City Media. We got the Grizzlies schedule getting announced a little later on today. So I'll talk to Mike Wallace about all things Grizzlies, including what should and should not matter from the schedule release. We'll do that in about 20 minutes. Michael Wallace is going to join me on Zoom. Finish talking to him, take a break, come back. Do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the University of Tennessee is switching back to Adidas as the school's official apparel provider. Needless to say, it's a lucrative deal. NIL component connected to it. I'll give you some numbers in about 40 minutes. Cleveland Browns rookie Shedeur Sanders has suffered an oblique injury that is likely to keep him out of Saturday's preseason game against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's unfortunate. I'll give you more details on his situation a little later on in the show. New study shows that only 54% of adults now say in America that they drink alcohol. That number represents the lowest percentage of adult drinkers in the Gallup poll's nearly 90-year trend. We're not drinking like we used to, Bennett. I'll tell you what experts believe is behind the decline. We'll do that in just a bit. A ridiculous and historic 4th inning unfolded last night at Citi Field. My God, the Braves were on the right side of it. The Mets were on the wrong side of it. 9 runs in the 4th for the Atlanta Braves. They don't even let that happen in 8-year-old baseball. If somebody scores 7 in an inning, they say that's enough. This is ridiculous. Like, get off the field. Let's switch it up. That's in 7-year-old baseball. They say you can't do that. This is crazy. And then the Braves just scored 9 runs in the 4th inning last night at Citi Field. I'll tell you more about it. We'll do that in the 3rd segment. And the second leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs is underway. Caves Valley Golf Club. I'll tell you how Scotty and Rory are doing in their first round, and also tell you what kind of odds were attached to Justin Rose, the FESJC champion. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with the New Heights podcast that debuted last night, featuring Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, and global icon Taylor Swift. I imagine many of you listened to it or saw it. As of this morning, it had roughly 10 million views on YouTube. And it has that despite some technical difficulties that clearly cost them when the feed cut out after, I don't know, about 105 minutes of the total 124 minutes that were available. We'll get back to that snafu. We'll do that in a minute. But for now, let's just focus on what we heard, what we saw. Big Bet Bennett, Taylor Swift, and 2 football players talked on camera for roughly 2 hours last night. Swifties are telling me Taylor has never, with a capital N, talked on camera for that long in that kind of casual setting. So this was huge for them and a big deal for pop culture in America. I know you watched, or at least I think you do. What stood out to you? What did you make of what you saw from Taylor and Travis and, the third wheel in the whole deal, Jason Kelce?
Yeah, I mean, I did watch it. I didn't even realize that it got messed up. But I thought that was my fault. But whatever.
Well, I mean, a podcast messes up. It's not unreasonable for you to think it's your fault.
It's my fault. Yeah. You're
really conditioned to just assume.
I thought that
when the podcast messes up, it's probably your fault.
Yeah.
You're conditioned for that.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I thought it was interesting just hearing her talk long form. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, it was boring at times. It just was. But it was interesting just hearing her talk long form.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's never done that before. The things that stood out to me. I mean, I think the thing that interested me the most was when, like, she talked about how they met and how they kind of bonded and how he, like, went after her and it's because I've saw some people suggesting, like, they don't have the best chemistry. Blah, blah, blah. I think that the reason that they work and that it has worked out between them two is what she referenced when she talked about how she didn't know anything about football. He didn't really know that much about the music industry. And I think it was kind of like one of those opposites attract deals. And I thought that was kind of interesting, just them talking about how their relationship started.
They're obviously very different people from very different segments of the world. They, up until they met each other, were living very different lives with very different people, probably interested in very different things, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm being completely honest, you know what I think the initial attraction was between these two people? Like physical attraction. They're both around the same age.
I get it.
They're both very famous, very wealthy, and both incredibly good-looking people. And I think that's probably where it starts, which, by the way, is where it starts with a lot of relationships. Like, how do you get interested? Ask some guy, just random guy or random woman, so how'd you meet your wife? How'd you get interested in your wife? How'd you get interested in your husband? The explanation you'll often hear is, well, like, I saw her standing over there. I walked into a place and she caught my eye, or he caught my eye, or it's often there's a physical thing that at least puts you in the same room. And then wherever it goes from there is wherever it goes from there. So I get people theorizing that it's an opposites attracts type of thing on some level, because you just look at the other people she's dated. They've mostly been creatives as opposed to, athletes. So I get that theory, but my main takeaway from last night, here's like, I watched the whole thing, and here's the main, if I had to bottom line it, somebody said, so what'd you think of what you watched? What was your main takeaway? You know what it'd be? They seem to love and really like each other. It's sweet. It seems sweet. He, like, clearly adores her. And she clearly adores him and, like, seems to love being adored by him. And it was just sort of cute and sweet. I understand, like, he can be over complimentary. I saw that. Like, dude, just relax. You don't have to tell her how she's the best in the world every 45 seconds. Like, I get that on some level. But more than that, I just thought it was sweet. He would say things like, she's so sexy when she does this, or she's so smart when she does that, or she's the smartest person in the world. Like, he just seems absolutely infatuated with her. And again, yeah, it can come across as like over complimentary, I guess. But more than anything, it just comes across, at least for me, it just comes across as sweet. Like, I thought they were cute and sweet. And at the risk of making judgments off of like what two people show you on camera, again, I think they came across like two people who not only love each other, but like really like each other. And to me, that's the most important thing. Not that I need to be giving relationship advice to anybody, but like, do you like the person you're spending your life with? Love is easy. Like is much more important. Find somebody you like. The love will follow that. But if you fall in love with somebody you don't necessarily like all that much, that can be a little more challenging long term. Taylor and Travis, like, they seem to love each other, sure. But they seem to like each other just as much as they love each other. You can see the love each other just by the way they've uprooted their lives and tried to be there for each other in various ways over the past couple of years. You don't do that for somebody unless you love them. Like, it has to be there. But the like stuff has to be there too. Mm. And that's what came across to me on that podcast last night. Based on what they showed us, at least. They also they seem to really like adore each other, like each other, and enjoy each other. Sure, it's a perspective gain mostly through watching them for 2 hours on camera. I acknowledge it could be misleading. Sometimes people are great at faking things and hiding things, but it didn't look fake to me. It can be difficult to fake that kind of adulation for each other in a relationship. And when I watched it last night, it just sort of looked sweet and cute and, yeah, real. It looked real. And I imagine most people who watched it, unless you're just a classic cynic, miserable person, you probably walked away with a similar impression. What else interests you? Anything else?
I thought it was interesting when she talked about how much she loved sourdough bread. I mean, I can relate to that.
I mean, I do like sourdough bread myself. Yeah, I don't know that I needed to hear anybody talk about sourdough bread for 12 minutes, but, you know, I'm somebody who might talk about Juan Soto for 13. So who am I? Who am I to cast whatever?
Well, you know, when she talked about getting her album or getting her music back, I thought that was pretty good. She got emotional there, or at least pretended to get emotional on camera. I thought that whole conversation was pretty interesting because I don't think we've ever really heard her talk long form about getting all of her masters back. So I thought that was pretty good. And then, yeah, that's it.
I thought it was fun listening to her talk about how she entered this relationship with a certain level of knowledge and even care with not just football, but just sports in general. And how now she is somebody who, to just quote her, watches the NFL draft and runs around her home screaming when they draft Xavier Worthy. Like, she's fired up about the Chiefs taking Xavier Worthy, somebody who set a combine record in the 40. Mm-hmm. She goes from knowing nothing about football. The way she put it was, I didn't understand that Travis and Jason didn't actually line up against each other and play football against each other. I didn't understand they were both offensive players and that offensive players don't get on the field against each other. She was like, I just assumed it'd be Josh Allen and Jared Goff. Like, she actually mentioned Josh Allen and Jared Goff, which I thought was another example of her, like, actually understanding football.
Yeah.
She's like, I didn't know that Josh Allen and Jared Goff are never on the field together at the same time. Like, that's where she started. And now she's talking about, you know, defensive schemes. She said, I'm learning. And she does seem invested in it.
Yeah, she kind of talked about how she never really cared about sports because she always just used sports for work. Like, when she was younger, she tried to go and do the national anthem at all these sporting events. And so it just was it was work to her.
Right, yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting
But
too.
she didn't care for most of her life. She would be around this stuff, but never interested in this stuff. Mm-hmm. But this relationship has given her a better appreciation for it, has helped her better understand it. And I did think it was kind of interesting when her and Travis were both talking about how their schedules and the way they have to approach their jobs isn't all that different. She made the joke. His job is to, perform in front of NFL stadiums, and my job is to perform in NFL stadiums. I just sort of do it by myself. And he has a whole team. She didn't say that, but it was a little quip that was funny.
Yeah.
You need 2 football teams and a whole bunch of men to fill up these things. I can do it basically by myself, but whatever. Our schedules are similar, and our work ethic is similar, and our rehearsals. I have rehearsals. He has practices. I have concerts. He has games. But we understand each other and the demands of that, and the value of a routine and staying on it. He even talked about her recovery phase, after the show at the hotel. He's like, it looks a lot like what we do to recover immediately after a football game. She's in the hotel and there's a team helping her recover because there's another show to do soon. It's not that different than what we do after a football game to get our bodies back into a place where we can do this again relatively soon. So I thought all that was kind of interesting.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing. Now I know. The one thing that she said that I thought was authentic and really believed and appreciated, because as someone who's chronically online, she talked about, it was the quote, she said something like, I've been in the music business for 20 years. It's really hard to hurt my feelings now. And I believed her. When she was talking about that, how she just doesn't care about the criticism or just negativity online and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? That seems real.
The quote was, you should think of your energy as it's expensive, as if it's a luxury item. Not everyone can afford it. Not everyone has invested in you in order to be able to have the capital for you to care about this. That's just a twist on, not to suggest Taylor Swift is copying me, obviously not, but I've said something similar before. The way I put it was, you can't impact my feelings unless you live with me. Now, that's not technically true, right? Obviously, there are people outside of my home who have access to my heart and my feelings, but it's a small number of people. I learned this over the years. Not perfect at it yet, but I'm better than I've ever been. You can have a Twitter account, and I guess by definition have access to my eyeballs, but you ain't going to have access to my mind, and you're not going to have access to my heart. You can have a Facebook account and send me messages, and odds are I'll see that, but you're not going to influence the way I feel about anything, unless you're somebody on this very small list of people who I allow to do that. I used to get worked up about everything. I can remember a time where I would see a post on a message board. I would create an account on that message board under my real name, and I would go onto the message board to explain, often over-explain, what it is I thought this person had wrong. Hey, Gary Parrish wrote this column, and he said this, and I would be compelled to jump on there and explain to strangers what I think you're misinterpreting and why I think you're misinterpreting it. I would do this on Facebook. I would do it Twitter. I would do it all sorts of places. Not worth my time. Not worth every minute I spend trying to explain myself or my work to a stranger is a minute I could have instead spent throwing a baseball with my little guy, or hitting a golf ball with my middle guy, or just having a conversation with my oldest son, or watching a movie with my wife, or actually working on the next thing. It's a waste of time, a waste of energy. The way I put it isn't technically, literally true. If you don't live with me, you can't impact my feelings. Obviously, that's not true. I've got family members who don't live with me who have access to my feelings, friends who have access to my feelings, coworkers in some cases who have access to my feelings. But broadly speaking, I ain't worried about what you say on the internet about me or my work, or I understand what she meant by that.
Yeah.
And obviously,
I thought it was good.
She's at a level 50 bazillion times larger than most. But there's not a day that goes by during the college basketball season where somebody isn't eager to tell me, to get very personal with me because of where I ranked a basketball team, or because how I framed an argument or anything. And I'll see it, but that's all.
Yeah.
It won't impact me any more than that. And that's what she said she tries to tell her friends. She has friends, she said, who will see something mean about Taylor Swift, and they'll get worked up about it. And she's like, if you focus on that, that's your day. That's what you're focused on today. Why you want to use your energy on that? It's a criticism from somebody who almost certainly does not matter.
The one thing, if I may be critical,
you can.
The one thing that and no disrespect to Jason Kelce, they have a great podcast. I wanted more because we never seen her talk like this, right? And I wanted a little bit more of like, what's your favorite movie? What kind of music are you listening to right now? What's your favorite show? What do you guys like to do for fun? I wanted a little bit more.
Well, in defense of Jason Kelce, he's a football player.
That's right. I know.
Who just started talking into microphones in recent years.
Yeah.
All right. He's already further in his broadcasting career than I'll ever get.
And I love the guy. Don't get it twisted. I think he's great.
He's on bigger television stages than we'll ever be on. He's got a bigger podcast than we'll ever have. He's doing great.
Mm-hmm.
He's a football player.
Yeah.
He's not an interviewer. He's not a question asker. So, I could nitpick him. There was one moment where he was like, so how many countries did you go to on the Eras Tour? Bro, you can look that up. Why are we asking Taylor Swift that?
Yep.
You can look that up and you can frame it. So I know you went to 37 countries on the Eras Tour.
Yeah.
What was your favorite? But you don't need to ask her, so how many countries did you go to? So what month were you born? This is all stuff you can look up. You don't need to ask those questions, all right? So, there were those moments where I was like, he's just not a skilled interviewer. All right, but he's doing the best he can.
That's right.
Under those circumstances.
And it's his podcast.
And
he can do whatever the hell
he can do whatever
wants.
he wants, right?
Yeah, it's true.
But I did think a different interviewer would have gotten a different interview, right? But maybe he's the only one who can get the interview.
That's true.
She wouldn't be talking to anybody else.
That's right.
Evidence being that she ain't talked to anybody else like this ever. So, yeah, you can nitpick Jason Kelce, but I stand more on the side of give the guy a break. You know, this is not what he's been doing his whole life. Most people who find themselves in a position to interview somebody, the star power of Taylor Swift, they've been interviewing people their whole lives. They built to that moment. He's just snapping footballs for a long time. And now this is his career, but he's not a trained or skilled or experienced interviewer. Yeah. And I did think that came up a little bit. But more than that, it didn't even matter because it was just two brothers and one of the brothers' girlfriends talking. That's all it was.
Yeah, as I'm thinking about it too, the stuff that I wanted to hear may not have worked because just what's fair, what's not. If you ask Taylor Swift what her favorite artist is right now, that's going to become the second biggest artist in the world behind Taylor Swift today. Their streams are gonna go skyrocketing.
I'm sure
they would go crazy.
I'm sure they did help him with questions and guide him and all of that. So I'm not suggesting that they didn't, but I don't think they did it well, not well enough. And perhaps she just doesn't want to talk. Maybe she just wanted this to go exactly the way it went. I'll do it, but mainly I just want to announce my album and talk about sourdough bread. I don't want to get into, but a different interviewer, if you have access, it's if I'm sitting down with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, a different interviewer might, and if there's no conditions on the interview, I might want to look at Travis Kelce and say, the President of the United States says he hates your girlfriend and also doesn't find her attractive. What did you think? What did you think when you heard that? The President of the United States. I might ask Taylor Swift, what do you think about what's going on in America right now? A different interviewer.
I'm sure those questions were off limits.
A different interviewer has different questions. I'm sure you've kept up with the Kanye West story. You guys are connected forever. What do you make of what's happened to him? We could have if you give me 2 hours with Taylor Swift, I could have some great conversations with her. But that's not what this was supposed to be. All right. This was her talking to what is possibly her future brother-in-law and husband in a very lighthearted and casual way. I thought it was fine for what it was.
Yeah.
I thought Jason Kelce did fine for what he is. The technical glitch. What'd you make of that? Because
I honestly had no clue until you just told me right now.
Okay. So here's the deal.
You know what I thought happened? I thought that I screwed up and because I was pausing it and restarting it. And so I thought I just messed up and it ended. Yeah.
So here's what I had it on and I was watching it live and I put in AirPods and I was like, I'm not just going to sit here and watch a 2-hour podcast. God bless everybody who does it. But I was like, I don't have that kind of time. I got to do something besides just sit here and focus on this. So Mets were in a rain delay. I say I'll put on the AirPods and I'll just like get some housework done. I'll just like do laundry and do the dishes and like try to straighten up around the house while I'm walking around listening to this podcast. And I had my phone in my pocket. I'd watch some of it, but then mostly I was listening to it. And it just sort of abruptly just like, it feels like they're in the middle of a conversation. Yeah. It's just over. And I'm like, well, did I hit the button or something? And it's already on to the next New Heights podcast or like a previous one or something. And I'm like, that cannot be the way that ends. Now, they pre-taped it, so I guess they could end it however they want. But that seemed abrupt, and there was no rep your hood. There was nothing there. And it turns out that it was incomplete. It was supposed to be about 2 hours and 5 minutes. It cut out with about 20 minutes left. And the only explanation I've seen this morning is like, they broke the internet. YouTube crashed, whatever. Except, and I don't know, I guess we'll get a more thorough answer at some point. But I can tell you when I clicked on the episode, you know, when you click on an episode, like if you click on the Chris Vernon show from yesterday, immediately you'll see it's like whatever it was, 1 hour and 39 minutes, right? This was always 1:44. From the moment I clicked on it, because I was like, how long is this going to be? One of the first things I want to see is how long is this? Is it 50 minutes? Is it 1 hour 10? It was 1:44 something. So 1:45. So it was always going to end at 1:45. I don't understand how somebody didn't notice this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to double check that.
You upload the YouTube, you boom, put it on YouTube, and what it should have said is 0 to 2:05, because that's how long the episode actually was. But from the moment I clicked on it, it said 0 to 1:45. I always knew it was ending at 1:45. So if I could tell it's always ended at 1:45, how does nobody that looked at this, that was involved in the editing and making of this podcast, look at it and go, guys, we have 1.3 million people watching right now. That's amazing. Also, I thought this was 2 hours because it says we're cutting out at 1:45. Why are we ending at 1:45 if we're supposed to be at 2:05? How did nobody catch that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know. But like, it's one thing if it said 2:05 the whole time and then it got to 1:45 and dropped out. That is more in line with something crashing, something glitching. This was always going to end at 1:45 according to what I was looking at.
So did they fix it? Can you go back and watch the whole thing?
Now it's up.
You can watch the whole thing.
It's republished and now
maybe I will.
Maybe, like I listened to they didn't get it till after midnight. The last 20 minutes of the episode did not post until after midnight on the East Coast at least. I listened to it this morning on the way here.
Was it good?
It was fine. It was 20 more minutes of the previous hour 40.
Gotcha.
It was just 20 more minutes of the previous hour 40. If you never listen to the final 20 minutes, I don't think you'll miss much.
Okay.
I think you'll be fine. But that's the thing I didn't understand. It was always set to end at 1:45 based on what I was looking at. So it felt like to me somebody just uploaded an abbreviated version or didn't get the entire thing uploaded properly. However that works. You and Kyra know more about YouTube than I do. But it was always supposed to be 1:45 based on what I was looking at, and then it cut out at 1:45. It just seems like that's something somebody should have caught somewhere. But what do I know? We're still trying to get the story number 1, story number 2 thing worked out over here. Yeah. So who are we to complain?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I'm just sitting here.
Michael Wallace is up next.
What is the biggest Summer League accomplishment so far for this Grizzlies team?
Tuomas Isalo filling out his coaching staff. The Ryan Saunders hiring was essential. It was big time. You have a veteran NBA voice there.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Shinedown, Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. or visit Shinedown.com.
Speaking of Adidas, are these the Harden 10s?
Yes.
Yes.
I guess so. From what
you guys don't sound too excited. It kind of looks like when you flush the toilet in the water.
Yeah, it's like a whirlpool.
Want to be phone positive? Yeah. Want to be phone positive?
Or artists just making some paint up and they just
Looks like phone positive material.
Yeah, or a thumbprint. The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Did you know the Grizzlies were going to try to get up and get you?
No, I have no clue. I thought the Grizzlies loved me when I worked out because it was like super fun and everything was, just natural. We were just having a conversation. It wasn't like said, what's your favorite color and, like all that stuff.
What's your favorite color?
It wasn't interview.
First date type.
It wasn't interview questions. It was just like, hey man, how you doing? Like, and it was just real easy to talk to him. It was real easy to talk to Coach Thomas.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough Studio, and on Thursdays in the second segment, I'm joined by Michael Wallace, senior editor, Grind City Media. He's here right now. Michael Wallace, it's GP. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Schedule release day. It all officially drops the whole thing today, and I'm looking forward to parsing through it and figuring out, how the Grizzlies get from game 1 to game 82.
Michael, you know how bare it can get in the middle of August when you're trying to talk for 2 hours a day. I would have really appreciated schedule release happening at like 9:15 this morning. It doesn't do me much good to do this after I'm out of here and the Chris Vernon show's happening. What time? Do we know exactly what time schedule release is coming today?
Yeah, it will drop. The official release for all 30 teams will drop at 2:15 Central Time. So 3:15 Eastern Time, 2:15 Central Time. And, we're all ready for it. So we'll have a Grizz Beat show that starts at 2. And right in the middle of that show, we get the fortune of having to unveil the schedule from that standpoint. But, yeah, sucks for you guys. We get it right where we need it, right in the wheelhouse.
And by the time I'm back here tomorrow morning, it'll feel like old news. Typically, I don't really care about the schedule release. It's going to be 82 games. 41 are going to be at home, 42 on the road, blah, blah, blah. But I do think it's perhaps more important this year than it normally would be. Similar to the way it was when Ja was suspended for the first 25 games of a season, because we now assume, at the very least, that the Grizzlies are going to be shorthanded to start this thing. Is that the main thing you're looking at when the schedule is released today? What does the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks look like? Because that's a time frame where they could be playing without Zach Edey and perhaps, who knows, Jaren Jackson Jr. as well.
Yeah, I think the first 20 games of this coming schedule is the first thing that I'm looking at. What kind of road trips are they going to have? This is going to be a young team. You're talking about at least one rookie, the lottery pick in Cedric Coward, but possibly another rookie and then a couple of 3 second-year players in, the guys that they drafted last year in Cam, Jalen, and Zach. 5 guys on that roster will be going through this gauntlet right off the jump. And Zach might not be ready for all of it. So how do these first 20 games stack up for the Grizzlies, particularly because of the newness, but also Coach Tuomas Isalo is really getting into the full-time job for really the first time. It was, it was kind of difficult to jump in last season in late March and going into that first round playoff series. But now, he gets to start a season as the main guy. That's another aspect of this schedule that's going to be important early on. And, most of all, the West is going to be a gauntlet. You cannot start off, 5-15 in your first 20 in the West and expect to catch up from the rear at that point. Too many good teams, too much depth, and too many things going on in the West. So that's going to be what I look at first when this thing gets unveiled.
It is obviously not necessary to start strong in the NBA to ensure a good finish, because the Pacers were bad really until January last season and ended up in the NBA Finals. But here in Memphis, with the coaching change, with the trade of Desmond Bane, with the way last season ended, I do think it's kind of important for them to, quote, get off to a good start, not necessarily because it'll impact the standings at the end of the year in any sort of tangible way, but just because this fan base needs something to feel good about, be proud of. And I do think a disappointing start to the season, 1-4, 2-7, could really rip I do think it's important to get off to a good start for all of the reasons I just stated. What would you add to that?
And I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that because of everything you just said and what I said previously as well. But this team is also, they got off to a good start last year, and it didn't factor into how badly they finished too, because they cratered towards the end, and that led to the dismissal of Taylor Jenkins as coach. It led to some other aspects and some other issues that surfaced, in the late part of that season, and it created this avenue for change. But here's the thing: the Grizzlies went out of their way, from a front office standpoint, basketball operations, to not call this offseason a rebuild. And if you're not going to call it a rebuild and you call it a retool, then expectations are still that, okay, this is a postseason team that's competing for, progression in the postseason. So when you pay Jaren Jackson Jr. what you paid him in this extension, Ja's going to be due for an extension at any point. He's due now. Technically, he can sign an extension, but, obviously this season is going to be big for the rest of his future as well, too. You can't just, meander through a season, right? You can't get, this can't be a season where, it's mediocre and lackluster. Your fans need more. They deserve more based on the way it ended last season. And you strategically did not say this is a rebuild. It's more of a retool. So let's see where it goes right now. The onus is on the Grizzlies to do what they say that they want to do and that they're going to do. And, we're going to hold them, to that expectation.
Obviously, the big schedule, everybody's schedule, is released later today. We have had news trickle out in recent weeks, in recent days, about opening night, opening week on ESPN, MLK Day games, Christmas Day games. I believe last time I looked at it, when you think of signature events, opening night, night 2 on ESPN, night 3 on ESPN, the holidays, there were 30 games listed total. Maybe 12 different franchises represented in those 30 games. The Grizzlies, obviously not one of them. I didn't expect the Grizzlies to be on opening night. That's going to be reserved for your champions, LeBron, Steph, and KD, which is exactly what it is. I didn't expect them to be on Christmas Day because they really haven't been lately, or barely ever. And I obviously didn't expect them on MLK Day because they're going to be in Europe. But is it surprising to you at all that the NBA would watch Ja Morant go on this tour this summer, recognize that he is a social media superstar, among the most popular basketball players in this world, and completely ignore him and his team in any of these marquee events? Did you expect it this way?
I expected it this way, and both things can be true. Ja Morant is a global icon when it comes to marketing and social media. He is that, no question about it. The numbers and the views and all of that. He just came off of this global tour. But when you're making an NBA schedule and you look up and you see Ja Morant has missed 30 games per year, you can't schedule that in, and you just don't know. He hasn't had the sustainability of availability to be able to be reliable from that standpoint. And that has to change. That has to change starting this year. What I want to see, the Grizzlies will have their fair chance of national TV games and big time exposure in the playoffs, right? So stay in the playoffs, get in the playoffs. Progress in the playoffs, and then you'll be where you need to be. I think Ja Morant, he can be a star, you know what I mean? But he doesn't have, Anthony Edwards is a star. Anthony Edwards could have gone on that same tour for Adidas that Ja went on for Nike. It would have been the same crowds. It would have been the same love. The commercials are, we've seen Anthony Edwards in his commercials, but he's also backed it up by getting his team to the Western Conference Finals. They've been consistent in terms of that, how they've competed on the floor. That is what Ja has to add to his resume in order for him to just really take it, and for people to build that trust that they need to have in him from a corporate standpoint and a league office standpoint. And I think he has it. He will get it back, and this season is going to be the litmus test for it.
I'm like you. I'm not surprised by the absence of the marquee games, but I think if I were a television executive, I would have maybe tried to argue this point. I wouldn't have died on this hill, but maybe tried to argue this point. Okay, if your concerns about Memphis is small market, there's nothing we can do about that. But Additionally, we don't know how good the team's going to be, and Ja Morant misses a lot of games, at least in recent years. I might have argued, okay, I hear you. Can't debate any of that, but this guy is somebody people want to put eyeballs on. That seems clear. We have a lot of data to support it. What if we took the Grizzlies before, if they're going to be not so great, before the record indicates that? If Ja's going to get banged up, before that theoretically happens. In other words, I might have said, let's take Ja Morant and put him in Madison Square Garden in week 1. Like maybe night 3 of the season, doubleheader on ESPN. So we're not in February with a 10th place Grizzlies team. We're still in the opening week of the season. They're 1-0 or 0-0 or 0-1 or whatever, but it's Ja Morant in the Garden. We can sell that regardless of if he gets banged up down the road, regardless of if they're not as good as they need to be down the road. I could have made that pitch, I think, pretty convincingly, and maybe somebody did, but the conversation fell on the side of we'll focus our attention elsewhere.
No. That's a good point. Load up on them early, where there's a lot of optimism. But having said that, you're also getting a lot of optimism from that's where Dallas and Cooper Flagg are going to get the national TV games. Because again, you load up on Dallas right now because he's the number 1 pick, and they're going to market him until Kyrie Irving gets back, and we'll see where Dallas is from that standpoint. But you also have that vacuum to fill because Boston is taking a step back in its national TV games because of the injury, obviously, to Tatum, and then Halliburton. And whatever Indiana was going to get, they're going to get a lot less because he's not going to be there that year. So to your point, those are 2 teams that are coming back from the national TV landscape. So the Grizzlies could have gotten up there a little bit more. But again, it's about credibility. You have to be able to win. You have to be. Ja Morant has this. You want to watch him. You want to watch him play. You want to watch everything that he does. Those things are true. But if you're the Grizzlies and you're competing against so many other national storylines, it's tough to squeeze your way in there. But be good. Be good. There's enough national television opportunities for this team to flex in if they stay good and stay competitive and stay available, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Last thing before I get you out of here. I've heard some make the point that, sure, opening night's going to be cool. It's Kevin Durant back in Oklahoma City. As the Thunder are raising a banner inside the Paycom Center. Your reigning MVP, Finals MVP, also on the court. And then Lakers, Warriors, LeBron, Luka, Steph and Draymond, Jimmy Butler, all perfect. But that's a big stage, and maybe instead of putting a bunch of guys who are perhaps a year or 2 or 3 years away from retiring, who are certainly on the back ends of their career, that stage, it's time to move Steph, LeBron, KD out of it and fill it up with Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero, in some cases maybe Ja Morant. Do you subscribe to that at all? That rather than keep going back to the same well you've been going to for 15 years, start using these stages to highlight the younger players who are going to need to be these guys when these guys exit stage left?
See, that's the thing, Gary. You and I are basketball junkies. We do this because we've always done it. We love it. We invest a lot of our time, a lot of our, obviously our resources and energies and professions into covering this. So we know that there are compelling guys that should be showcased. But at the end of the day, if you're a casual fan and you're rolling through there, you definitely want to see LeBron. You want to see Steph. Those are the people that your wives and your coworkers who don't even like basketball, they can resonate with and talk about because they hit a market level, they hit an interest level that goes beyond who they are on the actual basketball court. And as long as they're there, they're going to be compelling. It's almost like in golf. If Tiger Woods is in the field, no matter how horribly he's playing or how many tournaments he skipped, and he has no threat to finish in the top of the leaderboard, if he's on the green, he's going to have the biggest gallery, no matter what's happening and no matter who's doing what. And that's just because of who he is and who he always has been. And I think if the NBA is going to squeeze every drip of a benefit out of LeBron, out of Steph, out of these guys, KD, as long as they can, because that's what the ratings say and that's what the market says in terms of what you want.
Certainly understand that point. That's Mike Wallace, Grind City Media senior editor. Make sure you follow him, grindcitymedia.com. He's on X, @MyMikeCheck. That's @MyMikeCheck. You're the best, buddy. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you again next week.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Take care.
All right, bye-bye. That's Mike Wallace, grindcitymedia.com. When we come back, turn our attention to college athletics. The Tennessee Vols have reached a lucrative deal with Adidas. UT is leaving Nike, going to agree to a 10-year deal with Adidas. The University of Tennessee will become Adidas' biggest college athletics department in the country, and they're going to, Adidas, provide a lot of money in NIL for Tennessee athletes in all 20 sports. Big time move. I'll tell you more about it. We'll do it after this break. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Preseason Box to Row Coaches Poll has come out. Jackson State sits there at number 1. This is the third time in the poll's history that Jackson State has been the preseason number 1 team in the nation. And then Tennessee State being at 5, that really surprised me.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Catch us if you can at Southland Casino Hotel and win your share of up to $1.8 million in free play and prizes. Join us for drawings every Saturday in May, June, and July. Each month, over 900 winners will take home free play or drive off in a new car or motorcycle. Be there for all 6 grand finale drawings and try to catch us if you can, only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700. The NBA announced their Dunk of the Year yesterday. It was voted on by the fans, and it went to Ja Morant for his double clutch through Porzingis and Derek White. The call of it was excellent. That game we hung on to for a long time last season, but it was a spectacular dunk.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
University of Tennessee is switching back to Adidas as the school's official apparel provider. Nike is out. Adidas is in. Bennett, probably won't surprise you to know that it comes down to money.
Oh, okay. What's the situation?
Specific numbers were not published, but here's what the Tennessee Athletic Director, Danny White, said in a statement released yesterday. This partnership provides us with a significant advantage in the ever-evolving landscape of college sports. We take pride in our fan base and the competitive edge they offer us. We refuse to partner with someone who does not feel the same way.
Well, it's interesting you say words like lucrative and biggest deal ever, because it kind of just screams poverty to me. It just screams poverty.
Explain yourself.
I mean, I think weren't we once an Adidas school way back when? I think maybe.
Memphis was once upon an Adidas school.
Once upon a time.
If you
We've
remember,
been Nike for so long. We've been with the superior brand for so long. I just can't even remember, honestly, at this point.
If you remember, that was one of the funny things Derrick Rose said when we had him on the show. because we.
Oh yeah, all due respect to D Rose.
We referenced
he's an Adidas guy.
He's an Adidas guy, but he was a Nike guy growing up, and we were talking about the interview he and I did at Central Barbecue like a few days after he moved here for his freshman and only season at Memphis. And he showed up in a Nike shirt and he was like, I did not even realize Memphis was an Adidas school. So like my first interview as a Memphis Tiger on camera, I'm wearing Nike gear as a Memphis Tiger. And he was like, I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to do that, but I was a Nike guy up until I became an Adidas guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Nike is the dominant apparel company in college athletics. And this is a big deal.
In the NBA.
And in the NBA. But this and it will be a big deal in basketball because Nike has, I don't want to say control, but influence over most of the elite basketball prospects in the country. And now if you're Tennessee, you're an Adidas school, not a Nike school, that could impact recruiting someday. Like it just could. Like, I think it happens less today than it used to because there's so many things today that can influence a college decision. Now it can just be like a straight, here's a contract worth $4 million. Come play for me. This is we, the school, are paying you. But once upon a time, before NIL and revenue sharing and legalized payments, the main way you could influence elite basketball prospects was shoe companies. And so I've always thought this was hilarious. Anthony Davis from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I was told this story by just people involved in the recruitment. Anthony Davis is in Chicago. He's at a little small school in Chicago. Like he's not playing at Simeon High, all right? He's at a little small school in Chicago that Bruce Weber, who was the Illinois coach at the time, told me when I first heard there's somebody you need to go see at this little school in Chicago, I didn't even know what the school was. That's how off the map this thing was, all right? And I go see him, and it's pretty clear this guy is special, but it's very early on. And they set up an in-home visit just as soon as they can have one within NCAA rules. Bruce Weber said, I went to Anthony Davis's house, sat down with them. Like one of the parents was wearing an Illinois sweatshirt. The family was like, I can't believe the Illinois basketball coach is sitting in our living room. This is crazy. He's like, I'm in. Ready for this? Literally the last time he ever talked to him.
Because
Nike came in.
Nike, yeah.
And if you go look at Anthony Davis's final list of schools, it was like Kentucky, Syracuse, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Nike. Yep. And there's different levels of Nike. Like Illinois could be a Nike school too, but like you're not this kind of Nike school. So Anthony Davis, we don't care where you go. We're going to take care of your AAU team. We're going to take care of all your travel through all this stuff. We don't care where you go to school as long as it's one of these schools. Make a good decision. So this shoe companies have influenced recruiting for a long time. This is an old story. I mean, this goes back 30 years. When I was an intern in Birmingham, Alabama, at the Birmingham Post-Herald, I got a call one day, an assignment. And it was like, hey, there's this AAU team from Birmingham. And apparently one of the kids died in a car wreck, and there might be a nice human interest story there. Just, you're the intern. Go out and see if you can find a story there. And so there was this Alabama, just like Team Thad is in Memphis, there was Alabama Ice is what it was called. It's like a 16 and under team at the time. And they were caravanning from like Birmingham to Tuscaloosa to play in a tournament. So it was like 4 kids in this car, 4 kids in this car, 4 kids in this car, however it worked. And they're just boom, boom, boom. One of the cars had a blowout on the interstate, flipped, kid died.
Damn.
Right. All his teammates saw it. You know, it was awful.
Jeez.
Awful. Anyway, on that team, this was crazy. Little 15-year-old team from Birmingham, Alabama. On that team, Jericho Cotchery, who went on to play in the NFL.
Wow, yeah.
Like I was talking to Jericho Cotchery.
Receiver, yeah.
Mario Austin, who went on to play at Mississippi State and in the SEC for years, and Gerald Wallace, who played at Alabama and went on to play for the Celtics and was in the NBA for a long time.
Yep.
The AAU coach at this 15 and under team at the time said, hey, listen, I don't know, but like I think I got one who
He ain't really on anybody's national radar yet, but I think he could be the best player in the country by the time he gets out of high school. I was like, who? What's his name? Gerald Wallace. When he graduated high school, #1 player in the country. All right. There was
a Bobcat. I think
he
Gerald
played
Wallace
for the
was a
Bobcat. Yeah, I think, because they honored him in Charlotte.
Yeah. He was a Bobcat.
And I tweeted about this. So you could probably find the tweet. I think they honored him in Charlotte last year, and I tweeted about, he was on a 15-year-old basketball team, and I happened to have that connection with them. And it went on like Jericho Cotry, Mario Austin, Gerald Wallace. Those are the 3 ones I remember. There was a book written about this subsequently. So Gerald Wallace went from just a 15-year-old in Birmingham, Alabama, to a 5-star recruit, #1 prospect in America. And he was he stayed true to his little Alabama Ice team when they were trying to pull him to play for a bigger grassroots team. All over they probably tried to put him in prep schools and everywhere, right?
Yeah, I got it.
And he was like, no, I've been with this team the whole time. These are my coaches. These are my friends. This is who I'm playing with. So I think it was Nike. Do you know what they did? They started applying incredible pressure to him. They went to his high school, sat down with the principal, Nike officials. This is really something that happened. And told Nike, the officials at Gerald Wallace's high school, we can outfit your entire athletic department. You got brand new Nike football uniforms, Nike football helmets, Nike basketball, Nike soccer. Nike will put the new Nike scoreboard up on your football stadium, the new Nike basketball scoreboard in your arena. You'll be Nike'd out here. All your apparel for every team you have. The only thing we need is for you to convince Gerald Wallace to join this grassroots basketball team. So then they're going to a kid, and they're saying, hey, Gerald, we love you and you can do whatever you want. But you realize if you just play basketball for this team, Nike will give us hundreds of thousands of apparel, shoes, equipment, scoreboards, balls, everything. Huge amounts of money worth of stuff for our entire school, and it's all attached to you changing basketball teams. So Nike's had incredible influence in basketball for a long, long time. And that's one concern I've seen from some Tennessee fans with this announcement, that now we're Adidas, we're not Nike. But what Danny White would tell you, we're Adidas, not Nike, but we're the biggest Adidas.
Mm-hmm.
And Adidas, because this is part of the deal, they are going to provide NIL opportunities for student athletes in all 20 sports at Tennessee. You play a sport at Tennessee, you're going to have a chance to make money straight from Adidas. And every athlete on that campus will have access to an NIL program where Adidas will help you try to find deals that make sense for you. So a lot of this is an NIL component. And the argument, I guess, from Danny White would be, we know the lack of Nike could hurt us with a certain prospect, but we're going to be able to offset that in some cases with just money. Hey, I know you'd rather wear Ja 3s than, some Anthony Edwards Adidas shoe. I got that, right?
Yeah, those are pretty popular.
But what if I can give you $500,000?
That works.
Will you wear Adidas?
Yeah, right.
Will you wear Adidas for $1.3 million instead of Nikes for $600,000? Because we're going to have more money to offer now than we otherwise would have. You're going to be able to make more money in Adidas than you would be at Nike in this other school. So that's where we're at. It's a 10-year deal. And it's not like Tennessee's never been with Adidas. They were with Adidas from 95 to 2014.
I was going to say, that's like how I kind of remember them.
Yeah, they were part of Bruce Pearl when Bruce was there.
Yeah.
And it's the same type of thing. Like, that's how they got involved with Josh Selby. And then Nike came in and decided, we don't like Josh Selby going to an Adidas school. So they tried to muddy up that recruitment. And then the NCAA got involved, and it was like, I think they got a little gun shy to decommit from Adidas and go to Nike. So that's how Selby, at least on some level, ended up at Kansas a different Adidas school.
Yeah.
And Kansas, by the way, an Adidas school.
Yeah, it hadn't hurt them, at least not in basketball.
Right. I mean, people went to jail over what Adidas was doing for them.
I forgot about that. About that.
But that same thing is now legal. What Adidas was doing for Kansas to get people thrown in jail is now very, very legal.
God.
Bill Self was shamed for talking to an Adidas executive on the phone. Now Bill Self needs to talk to an Adidas executive on the phone every day to just make sure he's doing what he needs to do. So it's just, a sign of the times. Adidas has approached Tennessee with, and that Danny White quote, it suggests that Nike wouldn't sniff what Adidas was willing to offer. That Nike, and the reporting suggests Nike negotiated with Tennessee in like a exclusive window. They couldn't reach a deal. That window ended. Tennessee could open up negotiations with everybody, started negotiating with Adidas, got an offer from Adidas, took that offer back to Nike, and Nike didn't even counteroffer. Nike was like, yo, man, if that's what's important to you, you need to go with them because we're not going there. And they went with Adidas.
So what you're telling me, like just to put a bow on this, is the biggest Nike school in the state of Tennessee is right here in Memphis.
I think that might be true.
I
think that when you combine
double checking,
when you combine the fact that Tennessee gonna be out of the Nike business, in one sense over there.
I'm just saying.
Bennett, we could be alums of the biggest Nike school in the state of Tennessee.
I'm just saying.
Bennett, I think you're making a good point.
Number 2.
Shedeur Sanders has an oblique injury that held him out of practice yesterday, will hold him out of practice today, and is expected to sideline him for Saturday's preseason game number 2. That's disappointing.
It's disappointing. I saw Frank Schwab say that this could be that this past weekend could be the first and only time that we see him play football this entire season.
I don't believe that's true.
I do not believe that's true. I think that fan base will put the pressure on like you've never seen before.
They're going to suck
unless
and
they're
he's
good.
going to get his chance.
Yes, unless they're good.
They're not going to be. I shouldn't say they're not going to be good. I don't know.
Dude,
I don't think they're going to be good.
Okay, in their own division, who are they better than? Not the Ravens, probably not the Bengals, maybe the Steelers. I don't know.
I mean, the Steelers are going to start their old quarterback, and you're going to start your old quarterback.
That's right.
Right.
So
yeah, they're probably not going to be good, and then he will get a shot. Like, you never want to be the 4th-string quarterback, but like, if you're going to be the 4th-string quarterback, you'd like to do it on a team with Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
These are all people who have either had NFL jobs and lost them, or never had an NFL job just like you. That's all you're competing with.
That's true.
You're competing with a guy who was elite, I guess, but is now 40 years old.
Yeah.
Another guy who got ran out of Pittsburgh, and another guy who's a rookie just like you.
I also shouldn't say that they're not better than the Bengals. You know that this is crazy. My friend told me this. In the Joe Burrow era, he's only beaten the Browns one time.
I would not have assumed that.
That's pretty unbelievable.
I wouldn't have assumed.
Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. I would have assumed that.
Yeah.
I'll trust Joe Burrow and whoever he's playing with over whatever's going on in Cleveland. Remember, that was one of the better teams in the NFL last season. They just got off to a rough start and couldn't dig out of that hole.
Right.
There was some thought among some, at least, if I remember correctly, like if they can just get to the playoffs, they'll be a tough out for anybody. Just couldn't get there.
Right.
I'm going to trust the Bengals. I'm going to trust the Ravens. I'll let you figure out the rest. But here's what I believe. Shedeur Sanders at some point, I told you this last week, we will be sitting here on a Friday. JBS will be right there. And I'll look at her and I'll go, so Shedeur Sanders making his first regular season start this weekend. What do you think? That's going to happen at some point.
I think so, too.
I don't know if it's going to be week 1 or week 5 or week 11, but Shedeur Sanders will start a game. Unless he's injured, at some point he will get an opportunity. Joe Flacco will either suck or get hurt. The other guys will either suck or get hurt. I mean, Devin's walking in here in a Shedeur Sanders jersey on Monday. Like, that's happening all over the country, but especially...
Like 2 million people watched that preseason game.
He's just going to... He's going to get a shot because nobody else is great, and why not?
Yeah.
They'll get to a point where it's just like, why not? Let's throw him out there and see what happens. And that will be the biggest story in the NFL on that day, whenever it happens. But it will happen. I love Frank Schwab, but I'd argue with him on this one.
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders is going to play in the NFL in this regular season, and it won't necessarily be because he shot to the top of the depth chart. It'll be some combination of these guys suck and these guys are hurt, and now it's his turn. That'll happen.
Yep.
Number 3.
A new study shows that only 54% of adults in America now claim to be drinkers. And that is the lowest percentage in the 90-year history of the Gallup poll asking this question. Adults are drinking less today than ever, at least according to what adults tell us. You buy it?
Yes.
Do you make sense of it?
Yes.
Why? What's going on?
I don't think it's weed. I do not. I actually don't believe, because that's what you see a lot of like people say is, oh, it's because like everybody has access to marijuana now,
Okay,
and it's better than getting drunk. Like, I don't think that's it.
Let me stop you right there for a second. There is no evidence that weed, cannabis, it being more readily available legally in America than it's ever been. It's available in about half the states now.
Mm-hmm.
The experts actually don't point. People like you and I and folks on Facebook point to that all the time. The experts say we really don't see that as the reason for this drop. But I do believe that it's true. It may not be responsible, or maybe not be the main thing responsible for this number in this poll, but I do think it plays a role.
I think it plays a role.
People, you pop an edible, you're just not gonna drink as much as you otherwise would.
That's true. Now, and also, like, if you go into like a liquor store now, you'll see like they have like the THC or the THCA, whatever it is, drinks like on a display. You see that at all the liquor stores.
Well, you know
now.
who fights against legalized marijuana as much as anybody? The alcohol industry.
The alcohol industry. What I think it is, like for me, and I'm getting older, but like I drink less than I used to.
I drink less than I used to.
Now I enjoy a drink.
I do too. I am a drinker. I'm not part of this. I'm not part of this.
I'm not either.
I'm a drinker, but I do not drink as much as I used to.
What I think it is, well, people smoke less than they used to, right? Cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that the cigarette industry is down big compared to what it was 20 years ago. People just got more information. It's horrible for you.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
It could kill you. I think it's the same thing here. We know more about the effects of alcohol than we ever have before.
That's right.
And how dangerous it is. And I think like younger people, because it's the younger people who are not. That's
It is mostly younger people, but it is also true in older people. This is true both ways. Younger people are drinking less than ever, and older people are stopping drinking or cutting back on drinking more than ever.
Yeah, and I think it's because people just know more about how it affects your health. Young people may see what it did to their parents and say, I'm not going to do it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I really do.
My generation is a generation of drinkers.
Mm-hmm.
We started drinking when we were 15 years old. Never stopped. All right? Our kids have grown up watching us drink nonstop. I don't ever want to be naive or whatever, but I do not believe our oldest son, I don't believe he drinks.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't talk about it specifically with him, but I know this is true with me. You can't, like, I used to get out of hand sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Me too. I still can. I'm still down for a good time every now and again. Just not as much as I used to be.
I pick my good times a little more carefully than I used to.
That's right. They're a little more thought out and planned out.
My good times are I'm a little more careful with my good times than I used to be. All right? But do you know one thing I never did? Smoke cigarettes. Never. Never smoked cigarettes. I mean, I'm not saying I've never put a cigarette in my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I bet you I haven't smoked 7 cigarettes in my life. All right? and you want to know why? This is the honest to God reason. Because my entire life, my grandfather smoked, and I'd spend the night at my grandparents, and I would listen to him cough all night long. All night long. Like I'd lay there in bed, he's just coughing all night long. Same thing with my father. My father eventually stopped smoking because it was like, you have to.
Yeah.
But it was like too late. He had done so much.
The cough never went away, right?
It improved. But like a vivid memory of my childhood is laying in bed listening to my dad cough. And on some level, I just said, I am never going to be that person. And I don't, like I had, growing up where I grew up, in the time where I grew up, like whatever you wanted, it was around. Cigarettes, alcohol, beers, cocaine, you name it. It was everything's everywhere. I never touched cigarettes it is 100% because of my grandfather and my father. So if our kids have grown up watching us drink, is it crazy to think they're having the same reaction? All I've done is watch my parents have drinks and slur their words and fall asleep on the couch, and I'm just not going to be like that. I think there is a real connection there.
I do too.
And by the way, the experts think so too.
Yeah.
It is mostly what you're saying. We now know more about it, and we know it's not good for you. For years, people would lie to each other and be like, "Oh, I think a glass of wine a night's good for you," and
Yeah, it was like in moderation, it's actually beneficial.
Yeah.
We've come to find out there's no moderation is actually good for you.
The most recent information is that it's not good for you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things out there that aren't good for you. Drinking sodas ain't good for you.
Right.
Eating sugar all day, every day
Processed
ain't good
foods,
for
right.
you. Right. There's a lot of things that ain't good for you. But alcohol is on that list, and we now are aware of that more than we've ever been. That, experts say, is the main reason that young people aren't drinking and older people are cutting back. But I do think there are other factors. And one of them is, I think young people, broadly speaking, grew up watching their parents drink. And for the same reasons I said I'm not going to smoke, they say they're not going to drink. They're just trying to cut out the bad things they saw their parents doing and said, I'm not going to be like that. I think that plays a role. And then I do think the legalized cannabis thing does play a role.
It probably does,
Perhaps it's small. Maybe it ranks third or sixth on the list, not first or second. I don't know. But I'm telling you, that is a real thing. The alcohol industry fights against legalized cannabis because they know if you're the type of person who gets off work, comes home, and pours a drink, and then another one, and then another one, and then another one, you add edibles to that recipe. Oh, I'm just going to get off work, pop by the dispensary. I've got my marijuana card. I'm going to get 100 milligrams of edibles for $20. I'll take a couple tonight. That 4 drinks, that's 2 now. The 6 drinks cuts down to 3. Whatever it is, I don't know the ratio. You just don't drink as much. You just get zoned. You're just watching YouTube for 45 minutes. You just forgot you even had a drink over here.
That's right.
Right. So I think that's a factor as well. But the main factor seems to be people are like, this is bad for you, and we're not going to do it as much as we used to. I think it's good news.
Yeah, I think it's people being more healthy is good news.
I'm a drinker, all right?
I'm a drinker too.
I enjoy drinking, and I have no plans to stop.
Same.
All right? I don't think it adds anything to my life positively.
No, I've cut down big time. I used to get after it. I don't.
But it allows me to have a better time. I enjoy drinking. I enjoy having a drink.
Me too.
But does it cost me time that I could be using doing other things? Certainly. You can lie to yourself and be like, I'm just going to have some drinks and get some work done. And you will for a while. But eventually, you have too many drinks, you ain't really working the way you think you're working.
Right.
All right?
Right.
So I don't think it adds much of value to my life, but I enjoy it. But do I think I would be better off without it? Yeah, probably. And so I have close friends who were drinkers and just stopped.
I do too.
Or were never drinkers and never started. And
it also affects people completely differently.
Well,
every situation's different. Yeah.
That's the other thing I never really had a grasp for. I am for the most part, always been turn it on, turn it off.
Yeah.
I mean, I can turn it on, turn it off, buddy. I could have the wildest weekend you ever had. By Monday, it's time to work. I'm ready to work. I could turn it on, turn it off. I never understood. I have friends like this, that we've talked about it. Like me, I get home, I have a drink, I watch a baseball game, I go to YouTube, I get tired, I go to sleep. There's nothing about me drinking at home that makes me want to go do anything other than what I'm doing right there. But I have friends who genuinely they start drinking and their mind gets going.
Yeah. It's time to party.
It's time to go.
Yeah.
And they're looking for other things and looking for other places and trying to get out the house. And that just never impacted me that way. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have a drink. Then I might have another one. Then I'm going to watch a movie and go to bed. I never had whatever makes people have one drink and be like, I got to get to the casinos, or I got to get to the club, or I got to get to the bar, or I got to get to the strip. Just none of that with me. I never had that. But that's a real thing with other people. I have friends who had to stop drinking, not because they couldn't enjoy a drink or two, but because 2 turned into 11 every time. You wake up, you don't even know where you're at. That's just not really been my life. I'm not telling you I ain't never had no nights like that, but I have always been capable of having a couple of drinks and just calling it a night. And I know that's not possible for everybody. So whenever I have friends like who stop drinking, like I encourage them and, proud of them. And like, yeah, if this is complicating your life, you need to fix it. But I still kind of enjoy it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I kind of still enjoy it. So don't put me, I'm glad people are drinking less. I think that's better for people. But I still enjoy it just a little bit.
Me too.
I enjoy it a little bit.
Number 4.
Tell you what I didn't enjoy, this stupid-ass baseball game last night.
What happened?
Man, I was having a great night. Like a really good night. We had gotten TCBY after school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think it's nice to do after-school stuff sometimes.
It is.
So
I'm trying to be better about that.
We went inside, we sat down. We didn't even rush it with our TCBY. We sat down, we had a nice TCBY. And then it's like, all right, what's next? And get home, and it's like, okay, I got a little bit of time. I can, get some housework done. Then the Taylor and Travis podcast coming on, Mets Braves coming on, and then a blessing from God himself. Taylor and Travis come on at 6. That's going to be till about 8. Mets get into a rain delay. Doesn't start till 7:45. Oh, wow. God has timed this perfectly. Travis and Taylor will be wrapping up just in time for the first pitch, roughly. And then the Mets jump to a 6-0 lead. I'm like, man, I had yogurt today. I got 2 hours of Travis and Taylor today. And now the Mets are up 6-0 on the Braves. This is like
beautiful.
This is my favorite night of the week so far. And you ain't going to believe what happened after that. The Braves scored 9 runs in the 4th inning, highlighted by a Michael Harris grand slam. 9 runs. 9.
That's
in 1 inning.
That's hard to do. Damn near impossible.
My little guy plays 8-year-old baseball.
Mm-hmm.
If you score 7 in an inning, they make you stop.
That's it.
They say that's enough. That's enough. Switch them up. You get out in the field. You guys come hit. You can't score more than 7. That's crazy. That becomes humiliating for the other team.
Yeah.
7's the limit. Anything more than 7 is too much. Braves scored 9. If we would have attached 8-year-old baseball rules to that game last night, after the Braves scored 7, they would have had to stop because somebody would have said, this is too much. This is crazy. You can't score more than 7 runs in an inning. This is stupid. But because it's not 8-year-old baseball, instead Major League Baseball, they just kept playing, so they scored 9. Win the game 11-6. Mets scored 3 runs in the first, 3 runs in the second, and 0 runs in the final 7
Remind me how many wild card teams we get
3.
in each?
3 division winners. 3.
Buddy.
I mean, they're in the 3rd wild card right now.
Jeez.
Second highest paid salary.
And now you got teams that the Reds are right there.
I know the Reds are right there.
The Reds are right there.
I know the Reds are right there.
I thought that this thing was locked up, dude.
I
thought this thing was locked up.
Now 5 games back at the Phillies in the NL East. Only a 1-game lead over the Reds in the wild card, and that's for the 3rd wild card. I know the Reds are right there.
Mm-hmm. That's tough.
Twitter was saying last night was rock bottom.
We're not at the finish line yet. I mean, it could get worse.
Over the past 2 months, Mets ranked 27th among starter pitching innings in Major League Baseball. They're getting nothing from their starters. And
Dude, come on.
And then the bullpen blows up.
Like, I need y'all to get in. And one of our teams has to make the postseason exciting. And I'm not going to be able to help you this year. So
we'll see what we can do. I feel like we might have left. We might have too many holes in the pitching staff.
What the hell's Juan Soto been doing?
He homered last night.
He homered last night?
Juan Soto is not our problem.
It's not his problem. Yeah.
Lately, the pitching staff has been the problem. Juan Soto's fine. But that pitching staff, I don't know. Hey, give it another try tonight.
Yeah.
We'll give it another try.
There's always another game.
There's always another game.
Number 5.
The BMW Championship is underway at Caves Valley Golf Club in Owings Mill, Maryland. Rory McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler went off about an hour ago. Rory is 1 over through 4, and Scotty Scheffler 3 under through 4.
Yeah, of course.
He's already 3 under through 4. He is tied for the lead with Ben Griffin at 3 under through 4 holes. So
I would bet the house on Scotty this week.
Got his caddy back
because Annie lost. You know, he got there. He was right there at the finish line, and then had the bad Sunday, it feels like bounce back weekend for him.
Well,
this feels like a good spot.
So far, so good. Scotty Scheffler tied for first, 3 under through the first 4 holes. He was plus 220 to win the tournament when it started. Justin Rose, who won here in Memphis on Sunday in a playoff, he tees off a little later on today with J.J. Spawn, who he was in the playoff with.
That's pretty cool.
They're playing together. I guess the way the BMW Championship does it is they just take top 50, and I guess it would be 49 because Sepp Straka's not there. But they pair them 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. So like at 10:15 this morning, Roy McIlroy and Scotty Scheffler went off together. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then you get Justin Rose, J.J. Spawn. Justin Rose plus 4,200 to win the tournament when it started this morning. He and Spawn will go off a little later on. But the big headline so far, Scotty Scheffler 3 under through 4 holes at the BMW Championship. The top 30, of course, advanced to next week's Tour Championship in Atlanta. Be back with GP's Carryout.
What is the biggest Summer League accomplishment so far for this Grizzlies team?
Tuomas Isalo filling out his coaching staff. The Ryan Saunders hiring was essential. It was big time. You have a veteran NBA voice there.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Let's check the over-under totals. Alabama, Georgia, and Texas all at 9.5. LSU, Ole Miss, Tennessee at 8.5.
I love Ole Miss over the 8.5. I think Ole Miss can win 9.
But Ole Miss, they're gonna, Ole Miss, they're gonna lose to Arkansas week 3.
But they could go 9-3. Like Ole Miss winning 10 games
they always
is always
pull some
like
crap like that.
Ole Miss winning 10 can seem a bit of a stretch, but they can win 9.
They're gonna lose at Kentucky week 2.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
You get to the main event, and you hear the crowd. There's some rumblings in the crowd.
Here we go.
They say, "We want truth."
I love how John Cena said when they were chanting, "We want truth." You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
I loved it.
He takes me off, boom. Takes the mask off, boom. And it's our freaking truth. God, man, he cost John Cena the match.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap things up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Well, Dan Wetzel, ESPN, had an interesting column this morning. I don't know if you saw it, but it was about the ever-changing landscape, not just at Augusta National Golf Club, but in Augusta, Georgia. We've talked about this before because I go to Augusta every summer for Peach Jam, and it's one of the strangest little places in the country in the sense that it has the most exclusive, most beautiful golf club in the world, and it is surrounded by
chain restaurants.
It's like you're driving down Germantown Parkway.
Yeah.
Or, for people in DeSoto County, like drive down Goodman Road. Oh, there's Whataburger, there's Cane's, there's Chili's, there's Chick-fil-A, there's McDonald's, there's Wendy's. That's what Augusta feels like. Augusta, Georgia, this is the best way I could put it. Imagine you're driving down Germantown Parkway trying to find which fast food to drive through, and literally every fast food you can think of is there. And then you turn on this road, and the most exclusive, most beautiful piece of land that doubles as a golf course in the world exists. That's what this is. That's what it feels like. So Wetzel's got a column. You might have seen, because there was a headline, and it was kind of funny because anybody who goes to Peach Jam knows like this is a staple. The Hooters in Augusta closed a week or two ago, just like our Hooters downtown closed, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, rest in peace to college coaches having fun, because you walk in that Hooters any night at Peach Jam and like there's 20 multimillionaire coaches having beers and wings, but like, they're at Hooters because
I got it.
You understand.
Say less.
You understand. So when that came down, people were like, oh man, where are we going to go now after Peach Jam, whatever. Anyway, as Dan Wetzel points out, the Hooters closing in Augusta really has nothing to do with Augusta or Augusta National, as much as like Hooters all over the country are struggling, broadly speaking, this one included. And yeah, it does great during Masters Week, great during Peach Jam Week, but not so great in the other weeks of the year. And the reason that one's closing is the same reason Hooters are closing all over America. Coincidentally, I bumped into a friend of mine the other night, and she used to work at Hooters, right? And somehow it came up, and she was like, yeah, I don't think that place has aged so well. And I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
Right. So as Dan points out, that Hooters closed for the same reason that Hooters closed. Just people aren't going there as much as they used to for whatever reasons. But he said, there is something happening in Augusta, that is interesting, and something that is happening all over the country around places people go to see sports. They're doing it right now around Citi Field in Queens. It is true in Cobb County around Truist Park and the way the Braves have built the battery up around the park. So you probably have heard, if not seen it on television. You go to Truist Park in Cobb County to see a Braves game. There's this incredible, like, you walk out of the stadium and it's restaurants and hotels and bars and shopping and like an entertainment district that is exclusive to the ballpark, it feels like.
Yep.
Like they decided to put a ballpark here and then build all these things around it, as opposed to you have Beale Street and all this here. Now let's put an arena right in the middle of it. It's like you have nothing here. Let's build the baseball stadium and then let's build awesome stuff around it. Well, guess who owns all that? The Braves. In Queens, Steve Cohen, the Mets owner, is going to own a lot of the stuff around Citi Field. Here's the thought process. We're Augusta National Golf Club, or we are the Atlanta Braves. We name any stadium in America. We own the stadium that attracts, or we own the franchise that attracts people to this place. At Augusta National, let's call it 6 days a year. But a baseball stadium could, be 80-something. And then we let everybody come to this area that they otherwise would never be in. And they want to pregame and eat and drink. And so they go to these other people's bars and restaurants. And then they get out of our stadium. The only reason they're in the area is because of us. Then they get out of our stadium and they go back to bars and restaurants. Other people's bars and restaurants. Why are we letting other people benefit from a business perspective off of clients that we are bringing here? We're the reason they're here. How do you get around that? Why don't we own the restaurants? Why don't we own the bars? Why don't we own the hotels? So we're bringing, let's just say it's Atlanta. We're bringing 40,000 people to this baseball stadium 81 times a year in the regular season. Rather than let them walk out of the stadium and say, hey, you want to get something to eat? You want to get a drink? and go to an establishment this company owns or that company owns or this mom and dad own or whatever, you can go to this restaurant, we own it. You can go to this bar, we own it. You can go to this restaurant, we own it. You want a steak? Go here, we own that. You want a club? Go to the club after the game. We own that too. We're going to own everything around here. And that's what's happening in Augusta right now. Augusta National Golf Club is buying up all the property around Augusta National.
Mm-hmm.
They bought a neighborhood, wiped it out. They bought the shopping center that the Hooters is in. They own that now. They're buying up property around Augusta National, and they are going to make it a more exclusive place than it otherwise has been. In other words, you want to eat around Augusta National before you go to the golf tournament, you're going to do it at one of our places. You want to hang out somewhere after the golf tournament, you're going to do it at one of our places. You're going to travel to Augusta to stay here for the Masters, you're going to stay in one of our hotels. You want to rent houses around the course, we're going to own those houses. You're going to have to do business with us in every way you do business when you come here. And this is the way it's happening all over the country. And it's not hard to imagine it coming into play here on some level as well. I think it's publicly known at this point that the Grizzlies and the city of Memphis aren't just negotiating money. They're negotiating about improvements to downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that look like? But period, back to Augusta. I thought Dan he's the best and had some really good insight into they're changing a community by trying to do what the Braves have done in Atlanta and other professional sports franchises have done in different cities. Like, let's not just be the place people come to watch a game. Let's be the place people come to have dinner, have drinks, drink after the game, hang out after the game, and don't let them do it at other people's businesses. Let's own this. If you're going to spend $200 after the game drinking in a bar across the street from a stadium, we need to own that bar. If you're going to spend $150 at dinner before a game, we need to own that restaurant. And that's what they're going to do at Augusta National. It's what they've done in Atlanta. Interesting column from Wes, so you can read it, ESPN.com.
What's today's biggest game?
Well, we're taking you to Major League Baseball. Let's go to Citi Field. Let me take you to Citi Field.
Okay. Lost last night.
Yeah,
I
you
watched
did.
that Liberty game too, man. They just collapsed. They were right there.
You had Liberty plus 2.5.
Yeah, Asia Wilson happened. That's what happened.
Asia Wilson happened. Aces beat them 83-77. Tonight we're going to Citi Field. 6:10 first pitch. Braves and Mets. Atlanta going with Bryce Elder. Mets will counter with Kadai Singa. Mets are minus 190. Braves plus 160. First pitch 6:10 inside Citi Field. How you going to act?
I'm going to go Mets.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you can't
Thank
lose
you.
a series to the lowly Braves this late in the season.
I don't think so.
No, you got to get this one.
I think you got to get this one.
Biggest game of the season so far.
Oh, it's a let's see how you bounce back game.
Yep.
Let's see how you bounce. Let's see where your heart is game. This is a let's see where your heart is game. Mets Braves. Bennett says lay 190 with Kadai Singa. I agree. First pitch 6:10.
What are we watching on TV?
Could I interest you in the yogurt shop murders?
My wife watched it. She said it was very sad.
It feels sad.
Yeah, she said it because she loves the true crime stuff.
I do too.
She just loves it. But she said the first episode of that one was kind of tough to watch.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 episodes out so far. It is 4 episodes, and they're coming out on Sunday nights on HBO.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the Sunday night thing on HBO now. We're halfway through. I've watched episode 1, not episode 2 yet. But episode 1, your wife's right. It's just sad.
Mm.
And what I think it does more than your typical true crime dramas is typically we hear about and 3 people were killed and you sort of know that story, and they tell you about the person who was murdered, they tell you about the person who did it, and that's sort of the story. What this seems to be doing is better illustrating the trauma that everybody else has to carry around with them the rest of their lives. Like, it is sad when a little girl gets murdered, obviously. Now let's go talk to her parents, who will never see her again.
Mm-hmm.
The story is, this was in Austin, Texas, 1991.
Okay.
And it's like 4 teenage girls. 2 of them work there at a yogurt spot. and the other 2 are just there hanging out. We all did this, I think, when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I get off work in 30 minutes, but if you want to come up here and hang out.
Nah, the yogurt, we used to hang out at that TCBY up there, White Station and Poplar
It'd be
all
like,
the
hey,
time.
the doors are locked. We're cleaning up, but if you
Yeah.
want to come hang out and grab some yogurt and a Dr. Pepper, as soon as we're done, then we can, go to the party we're going to, whatever. And that's what was going on. 2 employee girls, closing the store, and the other 2 friends just like up there hanging out, and, just a normal night. And they're murdered. All 4 shot. And then the yogurt place is set on fire. And just spoiler alert.
No.
Okay, no spoiler
I want to
alert.
watch
Okay,
it.
no spoiler
I want to
alert.
watch it.
No spoiler alert. I'll end it right there. That's the story.
Okay.
And just 100% approval on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I want to watch it. I think I'm going to watch it today.
100%. All right, so I've watched episode 1. It didn't grab me like I can't wait for episode 2. Evidence being that I still haven't watched episode 2. But it's good enough to watch, and I'm trusting that it's going to turn great because it is 100% approval among critics on Rotten Tomatoes. They usually know what they're talking about. So the Yogurt Shop Murders, new documentary, 4-part series, first 2 available right now on the HBO Max app.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, I guess it's the Dan Wetzel column. I told you about everything that's happened down at Augusta National. So if you haven't read that yet, go find it, espn.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Friday, Food Truck Friday.
Oh, yeah, it's back.
Back, Food Truck Friday.
I missed this past week. I was out of town.
It's okay, tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can make up for it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Food Truck Friday tomorrow. Jessica Benson be in studio. Get ready for a big weekend of NFL Titans play tomorrow night, don't they?
Yes, we do play tomorrow.
Titans Falcons on NFL Network tomorrow night. Then
It's getting
Chiefs
shippy. It's getting shippy at these practices.
Okay. Chiefs Seahawks also tomorrow night on NFL Network. So get ready for a full weekend of NFL exhibitions. I can't wait. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll enjoy mine. Be back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.